What's good, guys? Your boy, no mercy, no mercy, 4K, doing mercy in the building. Coming back at your other banger reaction video. Today we got the complete history of Super Sentai 1975 to 2024, featuring Power Rangers. Man, you guys asked me to check this out, so that's what I'm here to do. If you enjoy this video and enjoy my reaction to it, want to see me react to more videos, more Super Sentai content, more reactions like this, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, I post every single day daily videos and bangers just like this for you guys. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoy this and want to see me post more content like this. But let me know what you think about this video and my reaction to it. I hope you enjoy. Let's get the complete history of Super Sentai 1975 to 2024.
For over 50 years, Super Sentai has established its reputation as one of the largest, most creative, and successful superhero franchises in the world.
Okay. The original Power Rangers.
Throughout multiple eras, Super Sentai has evolved with many different styles, themes, and stories, and today I'm going to be featuring every single one of these historic milestones.
I bet.
This video features every season of Super Sentai, as well as all of the important films, crossovers, and even Western adaptations. So sit back and relax. This is the complete history of Super Sentai.
I bet.
In 1975, Super Sentai would debut, although the series wouldn't be known by that name just yet. Kicking off the series was Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger, translated as Secret Squad 5 Ranger, created by Shotaro Ishinomori, who also created Kamen Rider, and inspired by the legendary 1972 anime Kagaku Ninja Tai Gatchaman. This debut series ran for a massive 84 episodes from 1975 to 1977.
84 episodes. Holy.
In Go Ranger, a planetary defense organization known as Eagle, or the Earth Guard League, stands against the evil Black Cross Army. After the Black Cross Army destroys many Eagle bases throughout Japan, only 5 members of Eagle remain, and they join together to become Go Ranger. In their battle against the Black Cross Army, the Go Rangers would utilize a variety of different weapons and tools to give themselves the upper hand in battle, and they removed their helmets' visors to produce their individual weapons. They also had motorcycles and an aircraft named Varibloon, a precursor to the mecha that would be featured in later seasons.
Okay.
With a likable cast, colorful suits, and cool pieces of equipment, Go Rangers set the standard for what would become one of the most legendary superhero franchises in the entire world.
Facts, with Power Rangers included, W Power Rangers.
1977 introduced the world to Jaka, Dengeki Tai, a sequel to Go Ranger that was also created by Shotaro Ishinomori, featuring a playing card motif represented by the J, A, K, and Q on their respective helmets, which of course stands for Jack, Ace, King, and Queen.
Oh, that's what it
The series would begin with only 4 members present on the team as they take on criminal organization crime before being led by Big One, the first ever White Ranger later in the series. Due to a lack of popularity, Jaka was cancelled early and the episode count finished at only 35 episodes, making it the shortest season of any official Sentai. Despite the early cancellation of the series, Jaka introduced many tropes and signature aspects of Super Sentai that would go on to be what this iconic franchise would be known for. This was the first series within the franchise to feature transformation devices for the Rangers to Henshin. This was the first series to feature a White Ranger, as I said.
There's a revolutionary.
This was the first series to feature a skirt for a female ranger. This is one of only 4 teams to not have the word Sentai in their name, and the first Sentai to air in the Philippines, with the name Lucky Aces.
Okay.
1979 was the year of Battle Fever J, a team of international heroes representing various countries and the first season to be known officially as Super Sentai.
Really? Oh, so these Sentais are from different countries?
After Toei worked with Marvel Comics on the Spider-Man Toku series, Battle Fever J would also be produced by Marvel and even featured characters from Marvel such as Miss America.
I ain't never heard no Miss America in my life.
Each ranger on this team
Miss
is
America.
named after various countries throughout the world, and Battle Fever J would help to solidify the Super Sentai formula going forward, with Battle Fever Robo, their giant mecha, and the first giant robo in Sentai history. Although Battle Fever J wasn't referred to as Super Sentai while on the air, it would later be recognized as the first season of Sentai, and then later on as the third season of Sentai. The origins of the Super Sentai name were pretty messy. Battle Fever J was the first Sentai series to feature a Black Ranger and Orange Ranger. This was also the first series that featured mouths sculpted onto the heroes' helmets. After a successful third entry into the series, Super Sentai would return again in 1980 with Denshi Sentai Denjiman. This series featured a team of heroes that descended from the people of Denji Star as they battled against the evil Vader clan.
The Vader clan.
Featured within the Vader clan was Queen Hedrian, played by one of the most iconic Toku actresses of all time in Machiko Soga, who we'll definitely be talking about more throughout this video. Denjiman was the first Sentai to have a transforming robo named Daidinjin, something that would go on to become one of Sentai's most well-known characteristics. This series was also the first series where the monster of the week would grow into a giant to fight the mecha.
Yeah. That's the classic, bro.
This series was also the first season to feature an actual visor on the helmets, while seasons prior to this one used the same material for the visors as the rest of the helmet. This was the first time that a Sentai had a device which gave them the ability to henshin anywhere, as before this they could only do it at specific locations.
Okay. Yo, what's up, Savage? What's good, bro? How you been, gang?
After the success of Denjiman, Toei prototyped various ideas for continuing on with the Denjiman story. After much internal discussion, Toei decided to produce a direct sequel to Denjiman in 1981 with the release of Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan, featuring the return of Machiko Soga's Queen Hedrian character alongside Hell Saturn, who is a pretty obvious Darth Vader ripoff.
Oh, me?
This was the final Sentai series to have a Marvel copyright attack.
NMG certified. My GOETTTTTT.
What's good, bro? Thank you for the W, Big Dane. When are you with the big 1 year sub, bro? Thank you so much for W 1 year resub, day. Hope you're having a great day today, bro. How you doing today, RNR? WNR, when are you in the hand? Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate it, bro. I hope you're having a blessed day, bro. God bless, bro. Thank you. You feel me? Yo, thank you for the sub. Welcome, welcome. Mercy, I'm nervous, though. Man, big week for the Panthers, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Good luck, game. You feel me? NRE, good luck to you and your Panthers, bro. I hope you're wishing me luck with the Lakers. You feel me? The Lakers looking kind of tough. The Lakers looking kind of tough. You know, yeah. I'm wishing you luck, bro. Good luck with your nonsense. I hope the Panthers bounce back. I think you said they were. That's tough. I hope they go crazy, bro. Thank you so much for the W 12-month sub, though. Welcome back to the stream.
Attached to it, but Marvel would not be directly involved with this production. This was the only official Sentai series with only 3 members, and they represented land, air, and sea respectively. This was the first season to have a combining robot, and this was the only Sentai season with no female rangers.
Hey.
The great Stan Lee was a self-identified Sun Vulcan fan, and he wanted to adapt it into an American show, but the source material was considered too childish and silly by his peers, which made it very difficult to get off the ground, unfortunately.
Okay.
1982 featured a new Sentai representing various ancient civilizations, Dai Sentai Goggle 5, translated as Great Sentai Goggle 5. In Goggle 5, our heroes take on the dark science empire Death Dark, an evil organization responsible for the downfall and destruction of many civilizations throughout history.
Death Dark, okay.
This show was originally meant to be called Go-Go 5, but that name would be used 17 years later. Goggle 5 was the last season where the Rangers would sport cloth suits featuring scarves, reminiscent of Kamen Rider.
Okay.
1983 brought us a Sentai season inspired by the game of baseball, Kagaku Sentai Dynaman,
Really?
or Science Squad Dynaman.
inspired by baseball, really.
This series was originally conceptualized as a baseball-themed Sentai that would have been named Baseball Sentai V-Leaguer, but clearly it was changed to Dynaman, with more of a science theme. This series also has another unique distinction. Due to the excessive amounts of gunpowder and the prevalence of explosions in the series, fans in Japan would give Dynaman the nickname Kyaku Sentai because Kyaku means gunpowder in Japanese. This is the first Sentai season featuring spandex suits for the team, something that would become synonymous with Sentai and appear in all but 3 of the following seasons.
Dynamite Sentai in the building.
In 1984, Japan was introduced to Chodinshi Bioman, translated as Super Electron Bioman.
Bioman in the building.
Hundreds of years prior to the show, 5 people were showered with bioparticles, granting them power that would be passed down from generation to generation. The power would be lost until the android Peebo brings together 5 descendants to fight against Dr. Man and become Bioman. This season took a lot of risks in regards to tone and format, skewing to a slightly older audience.
Okay.
This was the first Sentai with 2 female Rangers, and also the first season with a female Yellow Ranger. And this was the only season of Sentai released prior to Zyuranger that would be featured in Power Rangers, as Bioman would be used in a very, very early pilot episode.
Okay.
1985 featured a team of military personnel themed around mythological creatures. Dengeki Sentai Changeman.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know what you're talking about, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Spicy Gushers, I don't know what that is. If this coach thinks they played bad because all week they were told they were gonna win by 70 and they scored in the first 2 minutes. So they probably got too ahead of themselves. They didn't take their opponent. They probably took their opponent lightly. Didn't take it seriously all the way. That happens all the time in basketball, man.
1985 featured a team of military personnel
bro.
themed around mythological creatures. Dengeki Sentai Changeman. In this series, a team from the Earth Defense Force takes on the Great Star League Guzma in an effort to defend the Earth.
Oh, hell no.
After the success of Bioman, Toei tried to recapture the magic, although with a focus toward appealing to both older and younger audiences. Various tropes that had been abandoned by Bioman would return with Changeman, such as the Monster of the Week format. The original title of the series was going to be Uchi Sentai Cosmo Man and would have been themed around space. This was the first season with a female White Ranger.
Okay.
1986 was the year of Choshinsei Flashman, or Supernova Flashman. This series featured a team of Rangers who were kidnapped by the reconstructive Experiment Empire mess before being rescued and trained on different planets by an alien race called Flash.
An alien race called Flash? Hey, I would like to be the Flash.
After returning to Earth years later, they would form Flashman and fight against Mess. But due to what is known as the anti-Flash phenomenon, they would only be able to remain on Earth for 1 year before they would start to take damage.
What? Bro, what? After being on Earth for a year, they take damage?
The first season to ever add a second giant robo in Great Titan. 1987 saw the release of one of the most popular international releases in Super Sentai history with Hikari Sentai Maskman, also known as Light Squad Maskman.
Yeah, the Maskman look tough.
This series was originally conceptualized as somewhat of a callback to previous series, with the original suit designs featuring helmet molds that were reminiscent of Battle Fever J. In fact, the look of X1 Mask would keep this aesthetic. Eventually, during pre-production, the project would go in a new direction with a completely fresh theme, key power and auras.
Okay.
Our team would utilize
power
internal
like Goku
aura
out
power
here
and channel this energy into a fight against Underground Empire 2. As I mentioned, this series featured X1 Mask, who only appeared in 1 episode, but is widely considered a precursor of the official 6th Rangers that would come later. This is also the first season where each member of the team had their own individual mecha, something that would go on to be a signature element of the Sentai formula.
Okay.
In 1998, Toei released the final Super Sentai show of the Showa era, Shouju Sentai Live Man, translated as Super Beast Squad Live Man. This was an animal-themed Sentai and was considered an anniversary season due to Gold Ranger and Battle Fever J not originally being recognized as Sentais. Our heroes were gifted students from Academia Island who fight against the armed brain army Volt as Live Man. Assisted by the android Colon, Live Man would add 2 more Rangers to their original 3-man team, being the first season to do so. This season was also the first season to feature a female Blue Ranger, and it was the first season with a Black and Green Ranger on the same team.
Okay. I've never seen no female Blue Ranger before. You know, Power Ranger I seen.
1989
Power Rangers,
brought us
the
a
yellow and
vehicle-themed
pink Ranger
Sentai
was always
in
the girl.
Kosuku Sentai Turbo Ranger, or High Speed Sentai Turbo Ranger, kicking off the Heisei era. This season would start with a continuation of Sentai's
thank you for the 9 support.
The vehicle
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the W support. W
Sentai in Kosuku Sentai Turbo Ranger, or High Speed
Sorry, I
Sentai Turbo
can't read
Ranger,
chat right now,
kicking
bro.
off the Heisei era. This season would start with a continuation of Sentai's 10-year anniversary celebration, where in the very first episode we would see previous teams alongside Turbo Ranger. It's worth noting that this was not the 10th Sentai, but at this time, Go Ranger and Jaka were still not officially recognized as Sentai seasons yet. In Turbo Ranger, a team of high schoolers are brought together by Dr. Dazai and a fairy named Silon to become Turbo Ranger and fight against the 100 Boma tribes. This season sadly had 0 roll calls.
The Boma tribes is crazy.
In 1990, Super Sentai introduced a team of siblings who work as teachers when they aren't fighting the Zone Empire. The Hoshikawa siblings were the first sibling team in the history of Sentai, and in pre-production, this show had the working titles of Vector Man and the hilariously bad Brother Man.
Brother Man? Oh, hell nah. Oh, hell nah. Brother Man.
1991 saw the introduction of a dynamic and exciting bird-themed Sentai called Chojin Sentai Jetman.
Jetman in the building.
After gaining powers via birdonic waves, Jetman would take on the dimensional war party Vyram, and this series was famously inspired by Kagaku Ninja Tai Gatchaman, the classic anime that inspired Sentai, featuring a squad of bird-themed heroes.
Wow. That's crazy. A classic anime I never heard of before inspired Super Sentai.
A squad of bird-themed heroes.
That's tough.
After 5-Man failed to achieve the success that Toei had hoped, Jetman was planned to be the final Sentai in the series. But due to Jetman's success, the Sentai franchise would obviously continue. Jetman would make a few changes from the previous seasons, and those changes, along with the unique bird theme, resonated strongly with fans. When the season began, the team was incomplete until recruiting 2 additional members, and this was a first for the series. Additionally, before Jetman, heroes were referred to mostly by their color on the team, but this show featured the heroes being referred to mostly by their names, something quite unusual at the time. Jetman also borrowed from romantic dramas that were very popular in Japan at the time, even featuring a love triangle that turned out to be one of the most interesting aspects of the story.
Really?
The series featured Tetra Boy, the first ever third Robo in Sentai. This was also the last time that a 4th team member dies, where after this, they were all 6th or Extra Rangers. This series turned out to be extremely popular and just might have saved the Super Sentai franchise.
Hey, shout out to Jetman, bruh. Shout out to Jetman, bro. Save Super
1992
Sentai.
Was the year of Kyoto Sentai Ranger, themed around prehistoric dinosaurs and other large creatures. This series focuses on a team of ancient warriors from 170 million years ago who henshin into Zyuranger and take on the witch Bandora, played, of course, by the masterful Machiko Soga. This series is notable for featuring the very first official 6th Ranger and Dragon Ranger, a man named Burai who is the brother of Geki or Tyrano Ranger, leading to an explosive and impactful story between them filled with heart-stopping action and a premise that's easy to invest into.
Okay.
This was the first season themed around dinosaurs or prehistoric creatures. This was also the first season to focus on fantasy instead of science fiction, and this was the first season to be given an American adaptation.
As Power Rangers, you will have access to a universe of
That's the classic. I never really watched this. But this, we all know, is the original Power Rangers, classic Power Rangers. I myself, being honest, I was too young. But as a kid, I probably saw maybe 2 episodes of this. I maybe saw 1 episode of this. Maybe 2 max. It was before my time. But we all know this.
1993
we know
saw
what
the
this
culmination
was.
of Toei and Saban's continuous
Morphin
effort
Power
to bring
Rangers,
Super
sir.
Sentai to television in the West.
It was
with
before my time,
Saban's
but I know
Mighty
about
Morphin
it.
Power
I know what it
Rangers.
was.
Power Rangers would utilize various types of footage from Zyuranger, including Henshin footage, mecha footage, and footage from the villains. However, new scenes with American actors would be added. This show would focus on a team of teenagers with attitude who were summoned by Zordon and Alpha 5 to defend the city of Angel Grove from Rita Repulsa and morph into the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Alright, bet.
Mighty
That song. Nah, that shit goes crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that shit goes crazy. I'd be forgetting how crazy that song.
From Rita Repulsa and morph into the Mighty
Go
Morphin
Power Ranger.
Power Rangers became an absolute cultural
Go
phenomenon in the
Power
West and would
Ranger.
continue to spawn semi-annual releases well into the future.
Sir. The
Back
song
in
is too
Japan,
elite. It's too
1993
goated.
was
Too
looking
OP.
great with an
It's
epic
too
new
OP.
season of Super Sentai in the form of Gosei Sentai Dai Ranger. This season utilized some unique themes such as Chinese mythology and kung fu with some of the most hard-hitting and visually dynamic action that the series had ever seen before.
Okay.
This show features a team of heroes assembled by Master Kaku because of their high levels of ki, so that they can battle an ancient threat known as the Gorma tribe. This show's mecha and villain footage, as well as Kiba Ranger, were used for Season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Kiba Ranger was a young boy named Ko, and he appeared to grow into an adult when henshining.
What? That's
Dai
crazy.
Ranger added a more aggressive edge to the series, and fans loved it. After Dai Ranger focused on Chinese themes and story elements, Toei would pivot to Japanese themes with the Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger.
Okay.
Kaku Ranger featured a unique and charismatic team of ninjas as they would fight against the yokai. Although this show focuses on Japanese themes, it is partially inspired by the famous Chinese book Journey to the West, a story about a varied mix of personalities joining together to go on a journey.
Okay.
Footage from this show was used for Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and the working title for this show was Ninja Sentai Go Ninja.
You gotta run effective to the Power Rangers and be a
1995 brought us Choriki Sentai O Ranger, a season themed around
Nah,
ancient.
bruh. Ain't no way the Power Rangers beating the Akatsuki. Stop playing.
1995 brought us Choriki Sentai O Ranger,
Stop
a
playing.
season themed around ancient civilizations. In this season, the O Rangers would take on the Machine Empire Baranoia.
O Ranger.
This show was the 20th anniversary of Go Ranger, and consequently Toei wanted to have a darker tone that would appeal to older audiences. However, some saddening real-life circumstances occurred, such as a chemical attack in a subway and an earthquake in Kobe that both unfortunately ended the lives of many people. This resulted in a tone shift during the season in response to these events.
Wow. That's sad,
In the West,
man.
this show was adapted
R.I.P.
into Power Rangers Zeo. O-Ranger struggled in terms of television ratings, but actually broke records in regards to toy sales.
Really?
Also in 1995, Super Sentai began what would become a tradition with the very first installment of the Versus series of movies, in O-Ranger Ole vs. Kaku Ranger. This was a non-canon Sentai project in which both teams would team up together to fight a strange new yokai. This film would lay the groundwork for how Sentai team-up projects would work in the future.
That's tough. They got bought. They were teaming up in the movies.
1996 saw the release of one of the funniest seasons in the history of Sentai, the vehicle-themed Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger.
Car Ranger. Anyone know how strong the Power Rangers are? Bruh. They're
Being
pretty
a
strong,
parody
bro,
of
but I don't
Turbo
think
Ranger,
they're
Car Ranger
anime
leaned
strong.
heavily into comedy and featured some
Like,
unique...
come on, you know, like, anime strong is different, you feel me?
Being a parody of Turbo Ranger, Car Ranger leaned heavily into comedy and featured some unique elements that would differentiate this season from others, one of which was a wannabe 6th Ranger named White Racer. Car Ranger was adapted into Power Rangers Turbo, which even got its own movie in the West. Car Ranger featured a lot of slapstick-type humor and took quite a few chances with the story, delivering a charming and lighthearted season at a time when Japan needed it.
Okay. That's good, bro. That's good.
With the release of 1997's dingy Sentai Mega Ranger, the fandom would be treated to a cool new show themed around virtual reality, video games, and space. Paying homage to Bioman and featuring a team of high school students as they take on Nezarigia, Mega Ranger would feature many high-tech gadgets and advanced technology that had never been seen before.
Okay.
This series also featured holograms on the helmets of each Ranger to denote their ability, and featured the first Silver Ranger in the franchise, as well as the incredibly cool and evil Neji Ranger.
Neji Ranger.
This show was adapted into Power Rangers in Space, the final season of the Zordon era of Power Rangers. Mega Ranger was another dynamic and exciting season of the franchise, and the future of Super Sentai looked brighter than ever.
Get back.
1998's Super Sentai release was Seiju Sentai Gingaman, or Star Beast Squad Gingaman, featuring a team of warriors who take on the space pirates Balban. Gingaman uses quite a few motifs and themes, many of which are callbacks to the earlier Sentai seasons, such as legendary warriors, knights, and pirates.
Knights, pirates, okay.
This was the final Sentai series to air alongside a Metal Hero show, and the final season to feature the word man in the title. This was also the last Sentai series to use illustrated eye catches before and after commercials. Gingaman was adapted into Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, and Gingaman was the first Sentai season in which the episodes weren't referred to as episodes, but instead chapters.
Oh shit. Oh shit. Yo, Frenzy, take care, bro.
1999 brought us a Sentai themed around emergency services in QQ Sentai Go-Go 5. This show featured a team of 5 siblings as they battle against the Saima clan. Being themed around emergency services and rescues, this show featured heart-stopping action and a true sense of danger for our heroes. It was very clear from the first episode that this would be an action and drama-heavy season, but Toei would be sure to add just enough charm to keep things optimistic.
Okay. I bet.
This show was adapted into Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, and Go-Go 5 was the last Sentai series to only feature 5 Rangers, with none being added later. With 2000 being the last year of the millennium, the world was obsessed with time, and Japan was no different, leading to the release of Mirai Sentai Time Ranger. Asking fans to grasp the infinite future, this show had a time travel theme, and as such, it featured a team of time traveling soldiers, with 4 of them being from the year 3000, as they take on Don Donero and the Launders. Time Ranger went in bold new directions with the story, unafraid to explore a darker tone, and this season would go down in history as one of the most mature Sentai seasons of all time.
Really?
This Sentai was adapted into Power Rangers Time Force in the West, and Time Ranger was the first Sentai season to feature the now iconic Super Sentai series logo at the beginning of every episode. This was also the first Sentai season to have a red 6th Ranger, as well as the beginning of every episode.
All about this
was also the first Sentai season to have a red 6th Ranger, as well as the first season to air alongside a Kamen Rider show, which was Kuga.
Really? So Kamen Rider was coming out right next to Super Sentai. Yeah, that's tough. Y'all were watching Kamen Rider?
In 2000,
one episode of Kamen Rider, then
released
Super Sentai right after.
Sentai Gao Ranger, an animal-themed Sentai. This series followed a group of warriors as they fight against Org.
Gao Ranger. Y'all were watching Kamen Rider, 30 minutes later watching Super Sentai.
Being an animal-themed Sentai, Gao Ranger had a wild tone and
Yeah,
style that really worked well. The show would also feature some unique elements that hadn't been seen before. Gao Ranger was the first Sentai to feature auxiliary mecha that can interact and combine with the other mecha featured on the show. This was the first Sentai where the entire team used cell phones to henshin, and this was the first Sentai to have longer, extended roll calls for each ranger.
Okay.
Gao Ranger was adapted into Power Rangers Wild Force, and this was the first Sentai season to be released on DVD.
Wild Force. I never watched Wild Force, I ain't gonna lie.
2002 saw the release of another ninja-themed Sentai, in Ninpu Sentai Hurricaneer. This series had a focus on elemental ninjutsu powers and followed the students of a ninja academy as they fight against the group that killed many of their fellow ninja students, the evil space ninja group Jakanja.
Jakanja.
This series took what worked with Kaku Ranger, but dialed up the action and charm to deliver an incredibly well-balanced and memorable season, complete with a stellar cast and several unique new characters that would further differentiate it from other seasons. We would start with 3 Rangers, before adding the insect-themed duo, the Go Rangers, and the incredibly cool and entertaining Shurikinger.
I am Ninja of Ninja, Tenku Ninja, Shugenja!
Eventually adapted into Power Rangers Ninja Storm, this is the first season to feature 2 red and 2 blue Rangers on the same team. And this show was originally planned to be called Dainin Sentai Ninja Man or Great Ninja Squad Ninja Man.
Okay.
Toei would release another Dino-themed season in 2003 with Bakuryu Sentai Aba Ranger, following a team of heroes brought together by their dino guts to fight against the Avonians.
It looked pretty tough, I ain't gonna lie.
The premise of this show was very unique, having to do with a parallel Dino Earth that was created when a meteor struck Earth millions of years ago. Aba Ranger would also introduce the world to one of the coolest, most intimidating villains in the history of Sentai that would eventually become an ally and an Aba Ranger himself, Abare Kira. Footage of this show would be used for Power Rangers Dino Thunder, and this was the first
Yo, what's good, Zane? How you doing today,
Aba
bro?
Ranger himself, Abare history of Sentai
good,
that would
it's all
eventually
good, man. How
become
you
an
doing today, bro?
ally
Appreciate you
and
tuning
an Aba
in.
Ranger himself, Abare Kira
So this dude was
Sentai
an
would also
enemy.
introduce the world to one of the coolest, most intimidating
What's good,
villains
Zane?
in the
How you
history
doing
of
today, bro? Thank you
Sentai
for
that would
tuning in,
eventually
man.
become an ally and an Aba Ranger himself, Abare Kira.
Wow, so he was a villain.
Footage of this show would be used
That's
for
tough.
Power Rangers Dino Thunder, and this was the first season where
Dino
the
Thunder.
only female ranger on the team is a Yellow Ranger.
SPD, big SPD.
2004 would see the release of Tokuso Sentai Deca Ranger,
Big
featuring a
SPD,
new
bruh.
mystery theme, along with other police elements. Deca Ranger follows a charismatic group of officers from SPD as they take on space criminals called alienizers. The word
Yes, sir.
Deca is Japanese slang for detective, hence the name. Deca Ranger utilized several unique mechanics to help the team solve crimes, including Jasmine's ability to use ESP via touch, as well as Sin standing on his head in order to figure things out.
Bruh. Yo, I remember this dude
All of
in
the Rangers
Power
featured on
Rangers
the
would
show
do that.
are overflowing with personality, and the likability and charm of the show would keep it popular for years to come.
Yeah,
Deca Ranger is also notable
WSPD.
for featuring several auxiliary rangers who make limited appearances while henshined. Doggy Kruger, also known as Deca Master,
Doing
is
good,
a
glad to
dog
hear
who
that, bro.
serves as the mentor for Deca Ranger. Swan becomes Deca Swan, and we even see Deca Bright, who is Deca Break's superior officer. This series featured the most protagonist rangers ever at the time.
Oh,
Deca Ranger would be adapted into Power Rangers SPD, and
Big
Deca Ranger
SPD.
featured 2 separate outros, both of which are of extremely high quality and very catchy.
bro, this is my
featured
childhood,
2
man.
separate
I definitely watched some SPD. Definitely watched Mystic
outros,
Force.
both of which are of extremely high quality and very
Shout out to Mystic Force. Shout out to SPD.
catchy.
My goats.
This season is unique in the fact
Oh,
that
and Jungle Fury. My goats. Shout out to SPD. Shout out to Mystic Force. And shout out to Jungle Fury. My goats.
both of which are of extremely
Facts.
high quality and very catchy. This season is unique in the fact that there isn't really an evil organization, but rather they tend to fight alienizers who are operating in their own interest. Deca Ranger is also the only Sentai where every main ranger goes by a nickname.
Okay. Big Mystic Force in the bed. Let's go.
In
This is my goat.
2005, Toei
W
would
Mystic
head in
Force.
yet another bold new direction with the wizard-inspired Mahou Sentai Magi Ranger.
Yes,
This show would
sir.
follow the Ozu family as they utilize their magical abilities to fight against Infertia. This season capitalized on Harry Potter mania by utilizing various themes that you would expect from a magical Sentai, such as magic wands, known as Magi-Sticks, cloaks, and the ability to cast wacky and entertaining spells to turn the tide of battle. Magi Ranger was a fun and whimsical take on the Super Sentai formula.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What fire. Fire. Fun and whimsical, amazing. They did this peak Power Rangers right here. They made this perfect, amazing. Yo, what's up, Mike? Yeah, it's one of my favorite Power Rangers. I don't even blame you,
Magi Ranger
man.
would be adapted into Power Ranger.
Good though, Mike. How you doing, bro?
And Magi Ranger is unique in having the 6th Ranger, known as Magi Shine, marry a core member of the team in Urara, or Magi Blue. This was the final season to be shot in standard 4:3 aspect ratio, and this was also the final season to be released on VHS.
Wow. I didn't even know that.
2006 saw the Super Sentai franchise enter a new era with Go-Go Sentai Bokinger, the first season to be filmed in 720p HD. This show was an anniversary season and featured a team of adventurers as they hunted for treasure and battled against the negative syndicates.
And if it ain't 1080, it's not it, bro.
With the word Boken meaning adventure,
Nowadays.
it was clear that Toei wanted to invoke the same sense of exploration and excitement present in Western projects like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider. Our heroes would search for powerful artifacts called Precious, and the search for these items would often lead our rangers to exotic new locations that gave this show a ton of excitement.
Okay.
Bokinger would be adapted into Power Rangers Operation Overdrive in the West. In addition to the new HD resolution, Bokinger was also notable for having the first 9-piece mecha fusion and a 10-piece mecha fusion.
9-piece mecha fusion, holy. Jungle Fury is here. Jungle Fury is here.
2007 was the year of Juken Sentai Gekki
Big
Ranger,
Jungle
an
Fury in the
incredibly unique
building.
Kung Fu and animal themed season, focusing
Yes,
on
sir.
key and various aspects of Chinese mythology.
Shit,
In
show's
this
tough.
series, our heroes would utilize their powers to battle against the evil schools of martial arts.
Yeah.
Gekki Ranger had a new tone that was completely unlike anything that preceded it, and even featured a cool new wolf-themed Violet Ranger.
Yes,
This show was adapted into
sir.
Power Rangers Jungle Fury in the US and was
Indeed.
released as a dubbed version in South Korea as Power Rangers Wild Spirits. This was the first Sentai to not feature belts on the Rangers' suits, and also the last season to only have 5 total Rangers.
Wow. They didn't have that many Rangers, I ain't gonna lie.
2008
Nah,
was a
I ain't watched these.
high-octane
This is
thrill
where I
ride
fell
with
off.
Engine Sentai Go-Onger, another car-themed Sentai with an eccentric cast, explosive action, and tons of hilarious comedy. This series followed a group of heroes chosen by mechanical beings called engines to become Go-Onger and fight against the Gaiark.
Chosen by engines. Wow.
In addition to vehicles, Go-Onger also featured an animal motif and incorporated themes like pollution and conservationism. Ranger would be adapted into Power Rangers RPM, and this is the first Sentai season to feature
Power
2
Rangers
6th
RPM.
Rangers in Go on Wings, consequently making it the first season with a female 6th Ranger as well.
Oh shit.
2009
Oh, we got
would
the
see the release of
samurais
a
in the
Super
building.
Sentai season with a brand new samurai theme in Samurai Sentai Shinken.
Hey, the
This
samurais
show
look
follows
tough, I ain't gonna
samurai
lie.
clan leader Takeru Shiba and his loyal retainers as they henshin into Shinkenger and fight against the Godoshu.
The samurais look badass, I'm not gonna lie.
Shinkenger sliced a special place for itself within the franchise due to it being so different from many of the other seasons. This show would creatively add the lighthearted Sentai formula to a classic Japanese drama, and somehow it worked perfectly. Shinkenger's entertaining formula proved to be extremely successful with fans, with the show's likable cast, well-choreographed action, and traditional Japanese style, making this one of the most popular seasons in history. Shinkenger
Wow.
would also be featured in an exciting and memorable crossover with Kamen Rider Decade, a
Wow.
first for both franchises. Shin
Wow,
Kindred was
Kamen Rider
adapted
X
into
Power Rangers.
Samurai in the West, and this
Kamen
show
Rider
fit
X
for
Super
both
Sentai.
franchises. Shin Kindred was adapted
Welcome
into
back,
Power Rangers
ASAP.
Samurai
What's
in the
good,
West,
bro?
and this show famously featured
Welcome
a
back,
temporary
chat. Appreciate
female
you
Red
guys for
Ranger
coming back
in
up, man.
Princess Kaoru. As time has gone on, Shin Kindred has cemented
Not bad
itself
about
as
that.
a truly legendary entry into the franchise. In 2010, Toei would try to follow up on Shin Kindred's success with a brand new angelic Sentai, Intenso Sentai Goseiger. This show follows a group of Gosei angels as they fight against the evil spirits, and incorporates a playing card theme into the formula.
Okay.
Although Goseiger never reached the same heights as Shin Kindred, this show would still deliver a lot of things that made Sentai popular, including a charming cast, a lot of exciting action, and a sense of wonder. Goseiger was adapted into Power Rangers Megaforce in the West. Goseiger is also unique in the fact that the Red Ranger, Alata, is not officially recognized as the leader. In fact, there isn't an official leader of this team. This was also the first season where all of the Rangers on the team used cards to henshin, as opposed to just one of the Rangers, as was the case with Magi Shine of Magi Ranger. Although Goseiger isn't remembered as well as Shin Kindred or some other seasons in the franchise, there was a lot of quality in this series, and it did a good job continuing the legacy of Super Sentai.
Okay. Power Rangers Megaforce.
In 2011, the world wasn't ready for the
shout out to everyone
phenomenon
watching.
known as Kaizoku Sentai Gokaiger.
Hope you guys
a
enjoying the
pirate-themed
video.
Anniversary season.
If you are enjoying this video, it's a really long video. It's an hour-long video we reacted to right now.
the
Please
phenomenon.
smash like button, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new and want to see me react to more content like this.
Known as Kaizoku Sentai
Hit the like button
Gokaiger,
if you enjoy
a
this, bro. I want to see
pirate-themed
more.
anniversary season and one of the most popular Sentai seasons of all
Thank you for
time.
watching, man.
This season follows a group of charismatic space pirates as they take on the evil space empire Zongyak. This season
Space pirates.
celebrates the rich history of Sentai and incorporates many elements, characters, and suit designs from previous seasons. In fact, the Gokaigers themselves had the ability to henshin into all of the previous Rangers from the series by utilizing various Ranger keys.
Really?
Gokaiger was led by Captain Marvelous, an eccentric anti-hero with no
Captain
fear
Marvelous.
and tons of style and flair. This team is extremely endearing, despite them not always acting like heroes. These Rangers take what they want by force, but defend what they believe in fiercely, and always make a show of things. This season was so popular that Gokaiger would appear in more crossover and team-up projects than any other season in history, and it would be adapted into Power Rangers Super Megaforce in the West. This was also the first Sentai season to be released on Blu-ray. 2001 also saw the release of the biggest Sentai film of all time in 199 Hero Grey Battle, an explosive and highly entertaining celebration of Super Sentai. This film features 199 heroes from the history of Super Sentai, and it feels like a climax to the entire franchise.
Okay. Dang. Holy.
This movie of course features a ton of Rangers in costume, but we also see a few unhenshined that we haven't seen in a long time. It's excellent fan service, and longtime fans of the franchise will definitely enjoy it. It's something that set this huge movie apart from all the other ones. At this point, it's considered an absolute classic.
Alright. I go crazy. Got to Super Sentai 199 Rangers
Toei would
of Death.
continue to ride the wave of Gokaiger's success in 2012 with another huge crossover movie in Gokaiger vs. Gavin. This movie was the company's attempt at introducing Space Sheriff Gavin from the retired Metal Hero series to a new generation, and by teaming up with Gokaiger, they would do just that. This movie sees Gavin attempting to capture the Gokaigers, but eventually he himself becomes captured by a group of villains, and the Gokaigers have to rescue him. This movie heavily leans into the popularity of Gokaiger, and there is a staggering amount of fan service here. Legendary Toku actor Kinji Oba reprised his role as Gavin, and we even have appearances from his other famous roles as Battle Kenya and Dingy Blue. And if that wasn't enough, we were even treated to an appearance from the next Sentai series. 2012's official Sentai series was Tokume Sentai Go Busters, a slick new Sentai themed around technology and spies.
Around technology and spies, Spy Kids type shit.
This
So they on
series
Spike
introduced
his
a lot of
timing.
new concepts, like the Rangers having machine partners and the numerous references to the Western Power Rangers franchise, due to this being the 20th anniversary of Zyuranger, the show that was adapted into the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. In this series, our heroes would battle against Vagalas. The style of this show was fresh and exciting, and continued the streak of excellent seasons in recent years.
Okay. So they've been snapping. They've been on a roll.
Go Busters was originally skipped over for a Power
Super
Rangers
Sentai was on a roll.
adaptation,
Say
but
goodbye.
after Hasbro bought the Power Rangers brand, Go Busters would be adapted into Power Rangers Beast Morphers and debut in 2019. This was the first season where the suits are made of leather, and the first season where the team's name is plural. And Go Busters even featured Hiroya Matsumoto as Masato Jin, or Beatbuster, returning to the franchise years after playing Tsubasa Ozu or Magi Yellow in Magi Ranger.
Oh. Hey, W Mystic Force, man. My GOAT Power Rangers.
Also released in
Kamen
2012
Riders?
was a huge new film project to commemorate the 10th anniversary of TV Asahi's Superhero Time, Superhero Taisen, which would focus mostly on Gokaiger, the Go Busters, Kamen Rider Decade, Foze, and Oz.
Holy.
This movie focuses on Captain Marvelous as he seeks to gain the ultimate power in the universe while commanding the Daizangyak fleet. At the same time, Kamen Rider Decade leads Dai Shocker on a campaign to destroy all Sentais. This movie featured a ton of fan service for fans of both Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, and Marvelous vs. Decade would be an absolute treat for fans.
Wow. So who got the win? Who won, chat? Who won that? Who won, Marcus?
In 2012,
Kamen Rider
we
or the
also
Super
got a
Sentai in
hilarious
that?
new Sentai spin-off in Hikonin Sentai Akiba Ranger, a parody of the franchise. Being aimed at older fans of the series, Akiba Ranger was crude, creative, and unapologetically unique. This show would feature many elements and characters from the series, albeit with a very different tone than what fans were used to. This show is very meta in the way that it focuses on the team's delusions, and it makes it so you oftentimes don't know what's real and what's a delusion. This is the first Sentai where both the Yellow and Blue Rangers are female, it is the shortest Sentai, and it's the first one meant for mature audiences. This show also got a second season, a first for the franchise. 2013 marked the franchise's third Dino-themed season, with Juden Sentai Kyoryuger, the first season to be broadcast in 1080p Full HD.
ADP on deck, finally.
Kyoryuger wowed
It's about
fans
time
with
they
its
got a
energetic
1080p.
presentation and large cast of likable characters. And speaking of the large cast, there are 11 protagonist rangers in this series, the most ever at the
Wow.
time.
11 freaking main character rangers?
The
Damn.
title of the show is actually a reference to Zyuranger, because they basically have the same name but reversed. Juden Sentai Kyoryuger versus Kyoryu Sentai Zyuranger. This show would be adapted into Power Rangers Dino Charge and Supercharge. Although this series had disappointing viewership numbers, its toy sales were exceptional, and Super Sentai was alive and healthy in 2013.
I don't know, mate. Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna
Also
lie,
in
bro. I wanna
2013, we got
keep
the
talking
first
about
ever
that.
10
But yeah,
years
I
after
think so,
movie
but
of the franchise.
I don't really know,
Hurricane
bro. It's
Ranger
not.
10
It is
years
what it
after.
is.
This takes place 10 years after the show, and would catch us up with what the Rangers
It
were up
is.
to in
They are though,
2013.
but it is what it is already. Yeah. I don't want to keep talking about that. Think about that.
This was fun to see where they are now, including Ikko's new band and Kota being a father now. This was an excellent celebration for fans of Hurricane Ranger.
Oh, hell nah. The trains? Oh, hell no, not the
2014
train
brought us
rangers.
Resha Sentai Tokyuger, an imaginative and heartfelt Sentai season themed
Ugly
around
as hell.
trains. Tokyuger offered fans a lighthearted and fun experience,
Ugly as
complete
hell,
with a
boy.
charming cast that fans would largely respond well to. Despite this, the TV ratings were once again below Toei's expectations, and this series would be skipped over entirely by Power Rangers in the West.
Yeah, dude, I could see why. I could see why it did poorly. Cringe ass.
This season
know
featured
what
the
I'm saying?
Rangers' ability to swap colors with each
Just
other,
cringe
and
ass shit.
featured the first Orange Ranger since Battle Fever J. In 2015, Toei introduced what would prove to be one of the least
outfits in the
popular
last ones
seasons
were
in
not
the
it.
history of
The
Sentai,
Train
with
Rangers is
Shuriken
not it.
Sentai Ninja, another ninja-themed season.
ひとひら風花白忍者
This show is adapted into Power Rangers Ninja Steel / Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel in the West, and Ninja featured
Steel.
a lot of comedy and lighthearted antics with a focus on ninjas not hiding. But the cast and story unfortunately never connected with fans in the same way as other seasons.
Hey man, nothing hits like that Mystic
After
Force
this, we were
through.
treated to Deca Ranger 10 years after, in which 10
Nothing
years
hits like
after
that
the
Mystic
show,
Force through.
after the Rangers have gone their separate paths, the Rangers have to investigate a corrupt head of SPD,
That
as well
Mystic
as
Force?
the evil Neo
What?
Deca Red and Neo Deca
That
Yellow.
Mystic
This
Force
was a
and that
story
Jungle
that
Fury hit too
showcased
different.
the detective skills
It
of the
hit different.
Rangers and put them in a scenario that's slightly different from the ones we had seen previously.
ジャスミンはエスパーである。その手を通して人の心が読み取れるのだ。
Deca Ranger was one of the most successful Super Sentai seasons of all time, and the quality that made it successful would continue with this film.
本能覚醒
Alright.
大空の王者中央イーグル
2016 saw the release of an animal-themed Sentai with a bit of Minecraft thrown in for good measure. This was
Minecraft.
Dobutsu Sentai Zhuozhi, a 40th anniversary season.
荒海の王者
Put a little Minecraft. Wait, what?
中央者
This series followed a group of humans and humans
Oh,
who are animal
I literally
characters
said that.
as they take on the space outlaws Death
It
Dealer.
reminded me of like Mario Bros. I said that in like a video recently. That one of the Sentais I think
This
reminded me
season,
of
although
like
somewhat divisive, still saw
Mario
an
Bros.
uptick in
type shit.
viewership, and the humans, cubic theming, and the suit designs made this one of the most unique seasons of all time.
究極の宇宙天才
In 2017,
I feel you,
Sentai
bro.
fans would go on an epic space journey with the biggest and one of the most unique teams in history, Uchu Sentai Q Ranger.
忍びスター
You Ranger.
カメレオングリーンフードマスターカジキユ
You
Q
Rangers in the
Ranger featured the
building.
largest team size in history as they take on the space shogunate Dark Matter. This was one of the
Really?
most unique seasons of Sentai ever, and it would have a larger international reach than other recent seasons, as Q Ranger would air in Indonesia for the first time since Gingaman.
ビッグスターコグマ
Okay.
スカイブルー
スペースバスター
You're going crazy.
Elements of this season would be adapted into Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. This show is notable for the actress Mao, who previously played Luca Milfi / Gokai Yellow in Gokaiger, returning to the franchise to do the voice of Washi Pink.
ビーナスター
Okay.
ワンピンク
Q Ranger was set in a universe dominated by the villain faction. It features themes and equipment based on the constellations, and with 12 Rangers featured in the show, this was
I like
an
it.
incredibly unique and memorable season.
I like it. I like it.
警察戦隊
I just want 1% of the profit from all the toys that's been sold, bro. You'll be rich. For sure, bro. I would like that too. 1% of the profit from all the toys that have been sold from Power Rangers and Super Sentai combined. I need those. I need those. I'll be rich. For sure.
2018 brought us the first Sentai season to feature two opposing teams in the cops and robbers themed Kaito Sentai Lupin Ranger versus Keisatsu Sentai Pat Ranger. This season featured a team of thieves in Lupin Ranger and a team of cops in Pat Ranger as they take on each other.
Okay.
ルーパーレンジャー
Thieves and cops.
The concept of featuring two teams of Rangers was incredibly unique on its own, but this show even had a sixth Ranger referred to as X, who was part of both teams, a first for the franchise. Pat Ranger was the first Sentai team without
What
a
you mean
Blue
part of
Ranger.
both
This
teams?
was the first season without an outro song, and this was the last season to date that featured the word Ranger in its title.
What it mean they had a guy playing both sides, both teams, on both teams. That's crazy. Charlie's Golden Ticket?
Kicking off 2019 was a huge 4-part miniseries featuring Rangers from throughout the franchise's history in the 4-week continuous special Super Sentai Strongest Battle. This series featured a tournament in which Rangers from Sentai history would battle against each other to have a wish granted. Rangers from different teams would be mixed together to create cool new Ranger combos, and this miniseries was heavily focused on delivering fan service to the audience.
郊外天地
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
This small project was a great intermission between Lupin Ranger vs. Pat Ranger and the next main Sentai series that would follow.
Oh yeah, I
Later in
remember
2019, we would see the release of another Dino-themed Sentai, and the final season to debut in the Heisei era with Kishiryu Sentai U-Soldier.
What does that mean? What does that mean? This is the final Sentai to release in the Heisei era. So what is the era after the Heisei era? The Reiwa era. The Showa era. What does that mean? The Showa era, the Heisei era, and then the Reiwa era. What does that mean?
Heisei era with Kishiryu Sentai U-Soldier.
You guys gotta explain. What does that mean? Like,
this series
what is the
returns to
era
the
that he
Dino
shows?
theme, but this
Heisei era is when the Emperor reigns. When the Emperor reigns. The Emperor of what?
This series
What
returned to
emperor?
the Dino theme, but this time with a much more aggressive look. This show featured the U-Soldiers fighting against Druidon. This season of Sentai would be adapted into Power Rangers Dino Fury.
Emperor of what,
U-Soldier
though? Like,
also
what
featured
emperor
familiar
had they shown?
elements mixed with some fresh new ideas, and this was the first Sentai to feature a Brown Ranger. 2020 brought us the first Sentai season of the Reiwa.
Emperor of Japan? So they... Wait, so Sentai, they split up their show depending on the leadership of Japan? That's interesting. What the fuck? I ain't never seen no show do that before. That's like DBZ getting split up in eras because of whoever was in charge of Japan. That's weird, bro. Like, why does that have to do with the show though? Like, just because people were in charge of different eras of Japan, DBZ, this era of DBZ, that era of is just like, what the fuck? What does that have to? What does the leadership have to do with these shows? What does the Emperor of Japan gotta do with Super Sentai?
The Reiwa era in Machine Sentai.
That's like
Pyramid,
DBZ having
a
different
magic vehicle and
Showa era,
gemstone
Heisei
theme
era,
season
like what?
that would endear itself to the Sentai community. In this series, our heroes battle against Emperor Yodon and the Dark Emperor Yodonheim.
Holy.
This season delivered tons of charm and lighthearted humor, along with emotional moments that added weight to the story. Unfortunately, due to the 2020 pandemic, the tail end of production for this show was chaotic behind the scenes, and production would wrap early at only 45 episodes.
Say goodbye. So I'm sorry, because I'm not really too into Japan's history. Is that like the emperors or like the leaders of Japan's names? If you're saying the Showa era, the Heisei era, and Reiwa era, are those the names of the emperors of Japan? I'm sorry, I don't know nothing about Japan's government, their ruling class. I never even knew they had an emperor, bro.
Next, we were treated to the 10th anniversary of Gokaiger with 10 Gokaiger.
I know nothing
Taking
about
place
Japan's
10
government.
years after the events of the series, we would see the reunion of the most popular Sentai team of all time. This movie featured Captain Marvelous squaring off against tons of classic Rangers, with the stipulation that if he loses, he's gonna lose his key, but if he wins all of the other Ranger keys.
What? Holy.
Due to Gokaiger's insane popularity, Ten Gokaiger was extremely successful and would help to solidify the tradition of having anniversary movies going forward. In 2021, Toei brought us Kikai Sentai Zenkaiger, an anniversary season loaded with uniqueness and fan service. This series features a team full of Kikanoids along with a human who becomes Zenkaiser, as they look like a mashup of previous Sentai characters and take on Toji Tyndall.
Okay.
As
Got
an
the mecha
anniversary
on deck.
season, this show is loaded with fan service, and there's tons of references to previous seasons. The Kikanoids are meant to look like various mecha from the series, and Zenkaiser is himself a mashup of previous Rangers.
Okay.
Apparently,
crazy.
this series was originally going to be called Sentai Sentai Sentaiger, but I guess Toei just couldn't pull
What?
the trigger on such a hilariously weird title.
what
Zenkaiger
the
isn't
fuck?
remembered as favorably as other seasons within the community, but it did do a good job of paying tribute to the series as a whole. Additionally, we got the crossover between Kamen Rider Saber and Zenkaiger, known as Saber and Zenkaiger Superhero Senki, meant to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider and the 45th anniversary of Super Sentai. This was a huge, explosive celebration of Toei's brand of tokusatsu and one of the largest projects that Super Sentai had ever seen before. 2022 brought us Avataro Sentai Don Brothers, one of the most unique Sentais of all time due to it being based off of the legend of Momotaro. Don Brothers captivated fans with its high levels of energy and signature style.
The legend of what?
The Rangers here are based on different animals from the
I'm good on
legend,
that,
and
Marcus. I
several
ain't
of
gonna
which
lie,
are
bro.
portrayed exclusively by
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not trying to see another 10, 15 minute
Rangers
video
here are
about
based on different animals from the legend, and several of which are portrayed
Japanese
exclusively
history
by
and
CGI, a first
Heisei
for the
culture, or
franchise.
Heisei era
Interestingly enough, this show was originally marketed as a sequel to
right now. Just seen
Zenkai,
like 2
something
hours
that
worth.
hadn't happened since Sun Vulcan in 1981.
Ultraman
For Don Brothers,
Andes.
Toei was
Ultraman
focused on
Andes.
mixing up traditional Ranger roles, with the Pink Ranger being male, and the Rangers have visually unique powers due to the freedom that CGI animation provides. Don Brothers was the first show in the franchise with brothers in the title.
Okay.
2023 was the year of royalty with the regal Osama Sentai King Oger. This season featured a team of Rangers that are all rulers of their respective
I like the
kingdoms.
King Oger, bro.
Papillon.
I fuck with the
was
King
very
Ogers. They
first
look
Sentai season
badass.
to be themed around insects, and their suits are more armored than in previous seasons. They
They look
also
badass,
featured
I ain't
a
gonna lie.
half cape, reminiscent of a scarf, making them look somewhat similar to a Kamen Rider. This season also featured the most CGI ever by far, with it being used for nearly every
Really?
background, as well as the mecha and some characters.
Wow. Wow, man.
This show delivered some cool new ideas to the Sentai franchise, and was received generally pretty well by the fans, especially in Japan.
Wow, bro. I ain't gonna lie. King Ogers were tough. The King
Next
Ogers
up
do
is
look tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Gozaru Shushuto 20th Anniversary, a huge new 20th anniversary project for Hurricaneger taking place in the Edo period.
But it can do everything but
This
continue
movie
Dragon Ball
focuses
Super.
heavily on the predecessors of the Hurricanegers and the Galraigers as they engage in conflict over the protection of Princess Teruhime and the Ascension Stone
continue
that
Dragon
she
Ball Super
possesses.
already.
Eventually, this movie sees Rangers from the Edo period, as well as from the modern day, crossing over with each other, and it makes for a very interesting take on the Hurricaneger formula. After
What
this,
the
we
hell?
got the Abba Ranger 20th Anniversary movie, The
Why he
Unforgivable
started tickling him
Abba.
like that?
This takes place 20 years after Abba Ranger, and it places these Rangers into a world that doesn't necessarily view them as heroes, making for a very interesting new take on their story.
Okay. Oh, these dudes are ugly as hell.
2024 brought us Bakuage Sentai Boon Boomger.
Nah,
another
these dudes
vehicle
are
from
ugly as
Sentai.
hell, man.
This show delivers a heavy dose of slapstick humor and wackiness, and also features two of the rarest Ranger colors in Sentai history, with Boon Orange and Boon Violet. Boon Boomger delivers a fun,
Okay.
laid-back tone that never takes itself too seriously. Though the series has been somewhat divisive within the community, only time will tell what the legacy of Boon Boomger will be.
Tough. Ugly as hell. That's what the legacy is. That form is not it.
2024 also delivered the fun 20th anniversary project of Deca Ranger, with Deca Ranger 20th Fireball Booster. This movie had an exciting new mystery story that fits right into the Deca Ranger universe. We were also treated to an awesome looking new form for Deca Red called Premier Deca Red, and a satisfying twist that would send the audience home happy.
Holy. Whoa, I never seen this form.
Even after 20 years,
That shit look
Deca
tough.
Ranger was still hilarious, charming, and one of the most loved Sentais of all time.
WSPD, yes sir. The GOATs, SPD. I told y'all, the GOATs, SPD, Mystic Force, Jungle Fury.
Recently,
goats.
Kaku Ranger fans were treated to the 30th anniversary project of Kaku Ranger, titled Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger Act 3 Middle Age Struggles.
Middle age struggles is crazy.
This is the first 30th anniversary film of the franchise, and it would see the Rangers reprise their roles from the original series. And to see these classic Rangers reprise their roles was an absolute treat.
Okay.
Kaku Ranger was the very first ninja Sentai, and is extremely deserving of the 30th anniversary treatment.
Okay. Hey, Super Sentai going crazy, man. That's a lot of history we just learned.
After 50+ years of Super Sentai, this franchise has established itself as an absolutely legendary and
a lot
groundbreaking
of
collection
information we
stories
just
and
took in, bro.
characters. Super Sentai has
learned a
treated
lot
us to some
about Super
awesome
Sentai,
looking
bro. Holy.
costumes, sinister and memorable villains, and tons of hilarious moments that put smiles on our faces. We've been introduced to some amazing characters that we'll always remember, and as new fans discover this amazing franchise every day for the first time, the future of Super Sentai looks bright, and the love that the fandom has for Super Sentai is stronger than ever. What are your absolute favorite moments from the history of Super Sentai?
Alright, bro, I
Let me
think
know
that's
in the
it.
comments. And if you
Shout
enjoyed
out to
this
this guy
video,
and his channel, bro. Definitely got you, bro. I got you with the like. You know what I'm saying? Gotta hit the like button because an hour-long video on all that. I know that took a minute to make. Shout out to him, his channel. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and my reaction to it, though. That's the complete history of Super Sentai from 1975 to 2024. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and my reaction to it. If you did enjoy, want to see me react to more videos like this, hit the like button, subscribe, bro. I post every day for you guys here. If you enjoyed this, want to see more Super Sentai, more Ultraman content, more Kamen Rider content here from me, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button if you're new. I post multiple videos a day here, daily bangers. But thank you for tuning in and let me know what you guys thought about this history of Super Sentai. A lot of information we just took in. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching the video until the end, though. If me until the end, put W Super Sentai in the chat, W Super Sentai in the comments. To me until the end video, so know. I'll see you guys in the next one, though. Have a good day.
Shout out to my guy Mercy. Y'all already know I'm NMG for life. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel and check out his reactions.